Journeys with Dr. Carl.
Hello, I'm Dr. Carl, and welcome to my show, Journeys with Dr. Carl. After having traveled to nearly 100 countries on 6 continents and having studied over a dozen languages, it is time I hosted my own travel show, simultaneously in many languages. It is fitting that my first episode is here in Tbilisi, the city that I have lived in for a decade now, and where I am a professor of both English and political science at 2 different universities. I live here because my wife is Georgian and I am now a proud citizen of the Republic of Georgia, along with the United States of America and Sweden, and by extension, the European Union.
However, where I am starting today is not technically Tbilisi, but rather Meskheta. Meskheta is the old capital of Georgia and just to the west of Tbilisi. No trip to Tbilisi would be complete without visiting Meskheta. As you can see, there are a number of stands here selling traditional Georgian products. One notable one is churchkhela, which is made by dipping nuts into the residue from the winemaking process. It's been called Georgian Snickers. I think I'll buy some.
Nikuzit are shades of imitorum allergia max. Etitsali kilita Rafis? ეს არის ორილარი.
რომელი მოგერთა?
ეს მინდა.
იბატონო. გემრიელოთ მე.
მაგათ ნახავდის.
მაგათ დამებოდე.
The cathedral was built in the 11th century and 10 Georgian kings are buried in it. Unfortunately, I cannot wear my hat or shorts inside of the church. The best place to begin a tour of Tbilisi itself is in Old Town. Here we can see beautiful traditional Georgian architecture. This type of architecture can be seen in cities and towns throughout the whole of Georgia. Unfortunately, many of the recent buildings in Georgia have modern designs, such as the infamous Mushroom Building, where administrative things such as passports are done. To its credit though, things are quite efficient in there. Above Old Town sits a statue of Mother Georgia. Interestingly, in the Georgian language, the word for mother is deda and father is mama. In one hand she holds a bowl of wine for Georgia's friends, in the other a sword for Georgia's enemy. It is now possible to reach the top of the hill via a skyline. Tbilisi also has a funicular on another hill. That large building in the distance is Sameba Cathedral, which means Trinity in Georgian. It's a new building as construction began after Georgia regained its independence. The Orthodox Christian faith is quite important to Georgia. One final thing to point out are those domes over there. Those are sulfur baths. Our last stop is Rustaveli Avenue, which is probably the most important street in Tbilisi. It's on this street that the city's most important museums are located. Also on this street is the old Parliament building. The legislative capital has since been moved to Kutaisi, a city that is a 3 to 4 hour drive from here. At the end of this street is Freedom Square. During Soviet times, it was known as Lenin Square with a statue of Lenin. However, now that Georgia is free again, there now stands in the middle of Freedom Square a statue of St. George killing a dragon. St. George is the patron saint of the country. Indeed, the country is named after him and his cross is on the national flag. Also in Freedom Square is the old City Hall, which has since been converted into a shopping center. After all of this, it is necessary to have dinner. One of the first things you can see here on the menu is the Georgian alphabet itself. This alphabet is unique to Georgia, though it has historically been used to write minority languages within Georgia, such as Abkhazian and Ossetian. There have actually been 3 notable variations of this alphabet. The current form is about 800 years old. There are 33 letters and it is quite phonetic. Georgian cuisine is famous. One of the most famous Georgian dishes is hinkali, which is a boiled dumpling with a beef-pork mixture inside. However, nobody does hinkali as well as my wife and my mother-in-law. Another important dish is mitzvade, which are cubes of pork fried over burning wine branches. While it is certainly possible to have it here in the city, it is best in the smaller towns and villages, and nobody fries mitzvade better than my brother-in-law. Another notable dish is hachapuri, which has been called Georgian pizza. Georgia also has a unique bread called shoti. It is baked in ovens such as this. Georgia is of course world famous for its wine. However, the mineral water Borjomi deserves a mention as well. In Georgia, there is the strong tradition of the supra or party meal. At these meals, one man, the tamada, leads everyone in toasts. Often, these are at special occasions such as birthdays, weddings, and baptisms.
Which is why
I invited my family, in-laws, and friends for this.
Gauma Jos. And remember, there's a whole world out there just waiting to be explored. So don't just sit there, go somewhere.